What's going on, guys, and welcome to the Diamond Standard YouTube channel at the Collector. We're going to be headed into day number 16, game number 1. Auric Gold is going to be my rank, and the first match is 1 minute and 28 seconds. Please like, comment, and subscribe. First match is going to be against a mage deck. Going to pop in with a pretty strong opening hand with the Petulant, Impling, Wicked Fey, Necroscepter, and the Obelisk. Pull a Skeletal Hoplite. He does a little health switch, but that doesn't really make a difference, and he surrenders. So headed into game number 2 with 1 win and 0 losses. Rank Auric Gold. Match time 4 minutes and 28 seconds. Going to face a war deck. Always nice to have the quick matches. Getting that Petulant Imp out there so I can press the line. Tavern Brawler knocks me down, but my Wicked Fey takes him out. Trying to keep the aggression up. He gets out an Axe Woman and an Imp. And I get out the Obelisk since both of his creatures are damaged a little bit. He gets out the dang old hidden 4 for the Challenger. It heals. He get out a Blade of Sticks. His front line is pretty wide at this point, but I have him damaged. I am going to try to clear his board a little bit or get a Nether Swarm Lord. I go for the Nether Swarm Lord and getting wide and thick. And he ends up surrendering. So headed into game number 3 with 2 wins and 0 losses. Auric Gold match 3 is 8 minutes and 6 seconds against a light deck. Anything under 10 minutes usually makes me happy. Deception seems to be one of the decks that run longer, and of course death decks or anyone running control. This light deck opens up with a 2/2, and I decide that I need to get a Wicked Fey out there just so I can try to keep his lines down. He heals himself and allows me to get wide. Then I am a little bit confused, but I drop the Obelisk and continue to just get as wide as possible because I have a Corpse Explosion I could do on turn 5. He clears a heavy part of my board and heals himself. At this point, I'm just going to keep some things in my hand and use the spawners that I have to keep getting out there. I poke his creature down and decide to Nether Swarm Lord to get thick as possible. Likely should have used the Sanctum. Of course, reducing each of my creatures by 1, but he doesn't kill anything. He is likely wishing he could use the Sanctum as well and then clear my entire board. He gives some order to my Nether Swarm Lord, but that really doesn't stop the big moves. I decide to Ray of Disintegration his one creature. He goes missing for a little while and returns. Upon his return, he just stalls anyway, and it comes to me. I swing on out and Corpse Explosion. I believe he AFK'd in frustration. Ha, good game. Headed into game number 4 with 3 wins and 0 losses. I will be Solar Gold, and this match is 5 minutes and 1 second against another light deck. Pretty strong opening with Curse of Greed, Necroscepter, and the Obelisk in my opening hand. He opens up quick with that binder and then getting it as large as possible. Using all that boost on that, I decide to just pop it early with the Curse of Greed. Necroscepter, the problem with this kind of light deck is he is going to overrun me if I don't pull some kind of Ragnarok-like spell, and of course Radiant Dawn buffing all of his creatures up, swinging for the hills every turn he will. And even though I'm able to get pretty wide out here, yes, he light levies my obelisk and takes quite a bit of a lead. Giving all of his creatures ward is pretty powerful as well, though doesn't really make a difference because Ragnarok will still apply burn through ward. And then weakening the strongest creature and then buffing all creatures, making himself super thick. At this point, I'm not going to be able to really stop him, and I believe he has the damage on the board to end it, and he does with the glittering one for sure. So headed into game number 5 with 3 wins and 1 loss, still in solar gold, and this match is 3 minutes and 13 seconds against a death deck, which is pretty quick for what we're used to seeing. He took an interesting god power. Wants to see that card draw. He has Atlanteans on the field that dealt damage to me. At this point, I figure I might as well clear his board because I'm still going to get the zombies. And then I luck into a Necroceptor. Curse Hoplite. He's not got a lot going on for him. Curse of Greed, that sucker. And then swing out. Pass it back to him, and he surrenders because he knows he can't catch up. Headed into game number 6 with 4 wins and 1 loss. I was solar gold and I forgot to film, catching only the end of it. And you heard my brother in the background there. Headed into game number 7 with 5 wins and 1 loss. I will be solar gold into to deception there. It will be a good matchup. Pulling a decent opening hand. Not too concerned. Always enjoy the petulant imp into the fickle cambion. Even if he's unable to do much damage, he still gets the 1 ping through to the each player. He manages to take it out, and I Wicked Fey his creatures down and decide to just try to stay wide. Deceptions tend to be a good matches. Decaying Rhino, wondering if he'll be able to take it out. He indeed gives poison to a creature and knocks it right out of the bark. I try to drop a Fickle Cambion in hopes that I will stand a chance against all that front line, and he knocks my Fickle Cambion right down. Waiting to see what he goes for and destroys my zombies just a little at a time, getting favor. He is on a pretty strong line here. I drop the Decaying Rhino, just ping him and pass it back, keeping some of my creatures alive. He stone skins, and I am really in a bad way. Dropping the Fickle Cambion and then doing the 1 ping with the Petulant Imp in order to make him larger so he can't just be knocked right out. Decides to knock the gnome down and leave the Guild Enforcer. Strong decision. I should get my Decaying Rhino back, and he has the Basilisk out there. I Vampiric Skull and bring a Fickle Cambion back, but I know I don't stand much of a chance with him having 7 damage on the board. He has a strong chance of having a buff in hand. And truly, he does get the best of me there. And so we're headed into the next match with a death deck. He cleans up my Petulant Imp quickly, but I get my Necroceptor out there. Then I get the cursed hoplite out. He does not have much of a choice at this exact moment, but I fear I will be playing a control, seeing as he took the destroy and he drops the fire on my creatures. Of course, I know he has some Anubians now. Always a good chance for him to turn it around with Anubians. They come out fast and strong. At this point, I know I want to clear his board just a little bit because that will prevent him, hopefully, if he doesn't Curse of Greed, my Fickle Cambion from being able to kill it. And of course, he gets back what he needs, but it pings me for just enough that the Wicked Fae doesn't, or the Fickle Cambion doesn't go down, and then I ping myself, getting it right above the burn that he put on it with his Ragnarok. And I pull the Night Leaf Trapper from the Sanctum, and he is in pretty rough shape at this point. And I end up taking it to the bank. Headed into game 9 with 6 wins and 2 losses. Rank Solar Gold. Match time 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Facing a mage deck. Coming out pretty strong. With the Fickle Cambion, he ends up being able to control it early. But I am trying to work my way through his defenses. Decaying Rhino ends up being the strongest play. But of course he's going to do everything in his power to wipe that out. Eventually putting a little bit of heal down and using the Sanctum to try to keep his board clear. I'm hoping to pull off a Corpse Explosion if at all possible. But he clears a heavy portion of my board. I get a Fickle Cambion out there, hoping he's going to drop some kind of a front line, but it is in fact a Starfall to keep my board down to just a 1. He's going to have lots of control in his deck. He pulls out the Lightning Talisman, and I just want to slowly ping. I drop the Obelisk anyway, because he shouldn't be able to take it all the way out unless he has some straight up a fireball action in his hand. If he leaves my creatures alive, I should be able to pull off a Corpse Explosion and take it down, hopefully. And it is super close. I decide to run with it anyway in hopes that I will be able to end it soon. Pinging me for 1, it is my turn. A creature is left out there, and I Ray of Disintegration for the win. Headed into game number 10 with 7 wins and 2 losses. Solar Gold is my rank, and the match time was 15 minutes and 22 seconds against this death deck. Quite a long match. Opening pretty strong. The Decaying Rhino is not perfect. He drops a Voracious Fiend, so I know I'll be seeing a deck very similar to mine with likely some mid-range qualities. He Wicked Phase my first zombie. I Obelisk and decide to just go for the wideness. Likely should have Ragnaroked at that point to clear his board up. He gets out a Necroscepter, which means it's going to be a who goes first, who destroys who, trying to get thick first. I clean up his Voracious Fiend, hoping to keep him suppressed. He ends up getting my decaying rhino and sacrificing quite a bit. He plays an obelisk, but I have a curse of greed in hand. Knowing that's going to come in handy, I clean that up and clear several of his other zombies. I know I should get a little bit of a lead, hopefully, here. But he Ray of Disintegrations my obelisk and evens us up a little bit. I think this was a good spot to try and take the lead, but he gets out of the vampiric skull, pulling out his obelisk. And it is very difficult to get ahead of somebody who just seems to have the answer to everything that happens. I question again whether I should have Ray of Disintegration on the obelisk and just tried to kill the vampiric skull, but tough decision to make. He gets a wicked fey or a fickle Cambion out there, and at this point there's not a ton I can do because he is just gonna take me out, so I Ragnarok going for the board clear. He shouldn't get any more zombie spawned. He Iron Tooth goblins on my Necroceptor, giving himself a huge advantage. I pull my obelisk and voracious fiend. I just try to get my board wide enough he won't be able to clear the obelisk, but he has a curse of greed. And pretty much at this point he should slowly be able to eat me away. Necronomics, Pharaoh, Heirloom. He is pretty strong at this point. I'm pinging him down just a little bit and trying to deal enough damage to him to get some a favor from the Sanctum. Looking for some card draw. Curse of Greed. He is really in the lead at this point. I basically have to draw into a miracle. I hit my Necroceptor, but will it be enough? There is no telling. I pass it back. He gets out the enraged ally and then a decaying rhino, and I have nothing in hand. It would take pretty much a miracle. He's going to be holding what he needs on the board, and I say good game, thinking he's going to have a corpse explosion. At this exact turn, he couldn't end it, but he decides to just buff everything up and have the damage to easily end it next turn. I don't have it. I play what I have and pass it over. And he quickly ends it. So that is everything for the day. 7 wins and 3 losses. That is a pretty good day of 14.333 gods in rank Solar Gold. Thank you for watching and please return tomorrow.